Yes, people, welcome back to another video on Thai Sports. And today we're talking about Everton Football Club, who opened their account in their brand new Hill Dickinson Stadium yesterday, courtesy of goals from Ilman Ndiaye and James Garner, formerly of Manchester United. But it was the perfect way for the fans to get into the stadium, get 3 points, get the atmosphere going, feel the vibes. Sunday, bank holiday weekend, the sun was out. David Moyes off to a fly in their new stadium. And you know what? It's nothing more than they deserve, because I think Everton have been one of them real staple Premier League clubs for years now, and they've been waiting for this new stadium to be built. Obviously, Goodison Park has a lot of heritage, a lot of history behind it, and the women's team will now play there. So at least it still remains that somewhat in the football club to some capacity. But now it's turning a new page, making new history moments in terms of the Hill Dickinson Stadium. And Ilman Ndiaye got them off to a flyer yesterday with a lovely finish, but it wasn't for the hard work of Jack Grealish, who obviously arrived from Man City this summer and played a very, very instrumental part in the victory yesterday with 2 assists, setting up Jimmy Garner as well for the second goal. And also we saw opportunities for Thierno Barry, the young striker from France who was signed from Villarreal after a very good season last year. And you know what? He offered them more than what Beto could. And I done a video on this, people. I did a video saying it's very exciting in terms of what Everton are trying to do when it comes to the market. David Moyes is screamed for signings. He's screamed for improvements. He said we need something going into this new season. And now it does seem like David Moyes is getting the players that he wanted. And Thierno Barry was one of those signings. And he started yesterday ahead of Beto. And he will definitely keep his place in the starting 11, because we saw some nice touches. We saw the confidence improve as the game went on. Yes, he's still raw in some areas, but you expect that from a young striker coming in from the Liga, coming into a physical setup like the Premier League. But we saw him grow into the game. Some nice flicks around the corner for Ndiaye and Grealish, allowing Dewsbury Hall and them players to express themselves. He allowed Everton to pin the ball up to him, hold it up, use his physical strength, get them players pushing up higher up the pitch. And I thought it was a very good overall performance from Thierno Barry. Yes, he didn't get the goal, but sometimes it's more than just getting the goals. It's how the team react to him and how he plays for the team. Did he get them into better situations? Did he allow players to get further up the pitch like Grealish, like Ndiaye, and express themselves? And the answer is yes, he did. So that was a very good Premier League starting debut performance for Thierno Barry. And then, of course, they've now signed Keenan Dewsbury Hall from Chelsea. And I really like Dewsbury Hall at Leicester Football Club, by the way. I thought he's a player that's very much a driving force for them. He's a ball carrier. He's left-footed, so it gives you a bit more guile, a bit more technical ability, because left-footed players are just like that. But what I like about Dewsbury Hall is that he's versatile as well. He can play in a 3-man midfield. He can play in a 2-man midfield. He can play in the 10. He gives Everton real depth, and it's not just depth, it's quality in depth. And then, of course, the reason I'm doing this video, it's about the Everton rebuild, because you're now going to throw Tyler Dibling into this team. And when you look at what Everton are doing right now, David Moyes has said, right, come out and show me that you can back me. Show me that you want the club to head in the right direction. Give me some signings that I can really work with. Signings that not only improve the team, improve the starting 11. And they're going to do that. And I'm really excited about this rebuild right now, because Everton have got 1 win in 2 games. And now they look like they're going to kick on. They're going to progress. And when you've got a coach like David Moyes, who makes his plan very simple, very effective, and he's got the what do I call it? He's got that. I was going to say he's got the experience behind him in the Premier League. He doesn't make things too difficult. A basic plan, a basic method. Carry out that plan, and you'll win football matches. You will stay safe in the Premier League. But I feel like Everton's plan over the next few years will be to break into the top 10. I feel like that's what they want to do, because when you look at the signings they're making, people, this is why I'm making this video, because I think there's room to be excited. And the first one I will start with is Tyler Dibling. Obviously, they're bringing him in for around £40 million from Southampton Football Club. But this guy is one of the exciting players coming through that sort of youth setup in England. You know, we saw what he could do for Southampton in the Premier League last year. And yeah, they didn't stay up. But as an individual, when you watch him, you can see the moments that he could bring to that football club. You saw the special gliding, the dribbling, Tyler Dibling dribbling. You know what I'm saying? It all makes sense. But what I like about Tyler Dibling to Everton is, first of all, I think they need someone on that right-hand side. I think that right-hand side is something that's been lacking in a few years now. You know, you had Ndiaye playing out on the right-hand side yesterday. I don't think that's his preferred preferred position. You've had Seamus Coleman as the right back for a long time. Now, obviously, you're playing Jake O'Brien out there because Ashley Young has left the club. Nathan Patterson's picking up injuries. So when you look at the right-hand side in general, attack and defensively, it's been stop-start for Everton. They've never really found that right formula that they're like, right, this is going to be our plan for 38 games. You two are the nailed-on starters. Or if not, we have a bit of depth where you might come out, but you're going to play. Now, I feel like with Jake O'Brien being there at the moment as the main right back, yeah, cool. He can do that job for a season. We know that he's solid enough. He is a big centre back, naturally coming from Lyon when he was playing in France, but he can do a job and he's capable of playing there. Obviously, they're bringing in other players at the moment at Everton, and they'll have another right back potentially challenging with him and Nathan Patterson, but it's a starting plot. But what you want then, if you've got a defensive sort of minded player in the right back situation like Jake O'Brien, you want someone who's going to be very effective going forward. He's going to be able to dribble, express themselves, be a ball carrier. And Tyler Dibling, for his age, the personnel, the profile, the price, it makes sense. This is a perfect signing for Everton because the only way I see Tyler Dibling getting any worse is, you know, Everton falling off a cliff and he gets a bad injury. And I don't want to wish that on him. The only thing I see for Tyler Dibling is that he's only heading upwards. He's a guy that I believe will stay fit. He's a guy that gives you creativity. He's a guy that gives you goals. You know, when you look at exciting players, what I look at in footballers nowadays is, do they play with fear? And Tyler Dibling does not play with fear. No matter who he's up against, Liverpool, Man City, Manchester United, whoever it is, he's going to get that ball and whatever he wants to do with it, he's going to try and do that with it. And when you look at it now, having Tyler Dibling on that right-hand side is perfect because he's a left-footed player who can come in onto his left foot, hit some cracking strikes, put crosses into the box like Lamine Yamal does, them dinking crosses. He can go on the outside as well. He's got the pace and the dribbling ability to do that. And he's going to be such an effective player for Everton that he's coming in and not only coming in to improve the squad, but he comes in automatically for me into the starting 11. That's a big tick in the box. And I feel like Everton have really needed a right winger that has that sort of directness, that impact, the drive, and the hunger as well, because Everton are coming into a new stadium now. They want players that want to be there. They want to have, you know, that correlation with fans that we really want to drive and improve. And Tyler Dibling brings them that. So that's one big tick. And I'll lead that on to Dewsbury Hall because Dewsbury Hall's part of this rebuild and he's coming from Chelsea. And yeah, it didn't work at Chelsea, but it doesn't mean you're not a good player. When it doesn't work at a football club, it doesn't mean they are not a good player. Dewsbury Hall is a good footballer. I think what he has done to Everton now is he's sort of given them that extra legs in midfield, the drive, the versatility. And the perfect example of that versatility was actually showcased in the game against Brighton. He was playing as more of a number 10 in behind Thierno Barry. But then we saw what happened, the injury to Imo Brigham. And obviously Imo had to go off. What did he do? He says, right, Alcaraz, you've come on the right-hand side. You're going to go into the 10. Dewsbury Hall, you're going to drop in and play again alongside Idrissa Gueye. And that's what I love about the Dewsbury Hall signing. One, I think he's very much suited to the Premier League. Two, he can ball carry. He's got the dribbling ability. He can find a pass. He works hard. When you look at Dewsbury Hall and his age as well, in his mid-20s now, he's that perfect player of like, you're getting him now at the top of his game. And he's been ready to showcase himself as a starter. That was never going to happen at Chelsea. That move didn't make sense for me personally. But I was always like, right, whoever snaps up Dewsbury Hall is getting a good player. And Everton have now done that. And when you've got someone like him who can play in the 10, who can play in the 8 alongside Idrissa Gueye, it's perfect because it gives now David Moyes that tactical versatility that in certain games he can play Dewsbury Hall where he wants him. And one good thing about Dewsbury Hall is he's never going to complain. And two, he's now a guaranteed starter for Everton. So they've brought in a midfielder with the loss of Decore and stuff like that. They've brought in a midfielder that can do the up and down, get the legs, do the creative side as well, but also be composed in possession and ball carrying. He's like a perfect all-round Premier League midfielder. And I thought that teams like maybe Crystal Palace, West Ham, you know, there's other teams in the Premier League, Brentford, but that potentially could have looked at Dewsbury Hall. But Everton have got him, and I think it's the right club for him to be at personally. So I think this is a very good move. And then you flip the page over, and you've got none other than Jack Grealish. And we've seen what Jack Grealish has done already in 2 games in the Premier League. Obviously, against Leeds, they lost, but yesterday he got 2 assists. He got more assists yesterday than he had in the last 2 previous Premier League seasons. crazy. That is crazy. And I expect him to at least get 10 assists maybe this season. And I think if he does that, that is brilliant, by the way. That is very good. I think if, when you look at midfielders at, top 10 clubs and you come in as an attacking midfielder, you always say, do you know what? If you can get 20 goal contributions, 10 goals, 10 assists, you've had a really good season. Jack Grealish, we know, has got to find his confidence again. We know that he's got to get his mojo back because he's probably lost a bit of that when he was at Man City. But one thing about Jack Grealish that remains is, he wants to enjoy his football. He wants to play with a smile on his face, and he's a damn right good footballer. We saw that against Brighton yesterday. He got the 90 minutes. I believe he might have even got man of the match. But, Jack Grealish was being Jack Grealish. And I think one thing that's key to Jack Grealish is that you want to allow him to play with freedom. You want to allow him to express himself. And, that's not just saying, right, you've got to do this. This is your plan. This is your plan only. Jack Grealish is that type of player that you've got to say, right, the rest of the team, you're doing this. Jack Grealish, you can have license to roam. You can drop into the 10. You can drop into the 8. You can stay out wide and hug the touchline. Give Jack Grealish that creative freedom and enable him to just be himself like he was at Aston Villa and Everton. You have got a player. You have got a player, because I don't think Jack Grealish is done, by the way. He's never relied on pace. When you rely on pace, that's when your career can become short-lived, because when your pace goes, it's like, what else have you got? With Jack Grealish, he's got very good close control. He's strong. He's intelligent. He relies on his IQ is very good. He knows when to release the ball. He knows when to travel with it. He's just a very intelligent footballer. And Jack Grealish will be absolutely fine at Everton. I think he's going to probably nail down that left-hand side spot. So you're looking at it already thinking, okay, you've got Tyler Dibling. You've got Jack Grealish. And you've still got Iliman Ndiaye, who for me is a brilliant player. He's a top player. He's one of them players that I see, no offense to Everton, in a couple of years' time, he's going to be at a top 6 club. He just has to be, because he's just exciting. He gives you that, I played cage football. He gives you that, I just want to have fun with it. And you need them players, them unpredictable players. And I love Iliman Ndiaye. So he could now be battling out with Tyler Dibling. And there's no offense to Tyler Dibling. If he doesn't come in and start, then he doesn't come in and start. But what I could see happening now is potentially this. Idrissa Gueye and Dewsbury Hall in a 2-man midfield. Jack Grealish on the left. Iliman Ndiaye in the 10. Tyler Dibling on the right. Thierno Barry up top. And when we talk about rebuilds and when we talk about change, that is what I call a change. That is so exciting for Everton. That will cause teams problems, because I've already touched on Thierno Barry. He got 11 goals in Villarreal last season. He's going to grow. He's going to develop. Allow him to be raw, because there'll be some games he's going to be good in, some games he might struggle in. But that's why you have Beto. And them two can rotate. They've both got that sort of physical presence. They both can run in behind. They're both going to bounce off each other, because none of them are probably going to set the bar super high, but they can go off each other. But when you look at it now, you've got Thierno Barry and Beto. That's the striker position sorted. Forget that, right? But then you look at the 5 players behind them. And now with Grealish, Ndiaye, Dibling, Dewsbury Hall, Idrissa Gueye, that is a big switch up. When you look at Jack Harrison, Dwight McNeil's, James Garner even playing in midfield, Decore, Everton have just done a complete 360. And I'm not saying that them players are bad, but what it is, it just gives you excitement. It's a fresh feel. Players that can create, players that can dribble, players that are quick, agile, athletic. I really like what Everton are doing in this transfer window. And I don't know if their window is going to be done, if it's going to be completed. But right now, when I make this video and you look at the victory yesterday, you look at Tyler Dibling adding to this, it is a very exciting time for Everton Football Club. And I think that David Moyes has players that he can really work with now. He can get a tune out of. And yes, we know David Moyes is more of a defensive, pragmatic manager. Now, he can be pragmatic, but also be like, right, in transition, on the counter, we've got players like this that can really cause teams problems. And I expect Everton to get some big victories this season. So if you're an Everton fan, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe, because I really like what you're doing. And I've painted the picture of the rebuild, the tactical versatility, the positions they can play in. And I think the only way is up for Everton Football Club. But I wanted to make this video because I do like Everton as a football club. I think their fans deserve more content like this. And I think their fans have something to be excited about. So well done on your first victory in the new stadium. I hope you have a good season, injury-free with players, and we can see some exciting football. So guys, like this video. Please subscribe if you're new. On my way to 5K, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.